This bathroom is so funny because if you guys didn't know, this is our guest bathroom and we use it to shower and stuff. But this and the bathroom downstairs are the only rooms in my entire place that look like modern and like, I don't know, what would you call, I don't even know what this is called. Like, it just looks very like modern, nice. And the funny thing is when I first got it, I was like, I want everything to look like this. And now I'm like, I just want like character. I would rather put up kitschy ass wallpaper. The shower is bomb compared to the one in the bedroom. It's funny, I've never showered in my master bathroom. There's no towels in here, hello? I've literally been using this for shampoo. It's been great. I was using like really nice shampoos for a really long time, and then I realized these kind, like store-bought, smell so good and they like keep the bathroom smelling amazing. I don't know. I have Pilates and I forgot these books last week for my instructor and I'm gonna remember them this time. Hopefully. I just forget. But I'm confused because she already saw the movie, so I'm like, does she want to read the first one? I'm sure she saw the movie, but I'll give her both just in case. All right, I have never felt fear as much as I felt in that Pilates class. And it wasn't because of the Pilates. You know how when you're sick, like you get a cold or something, and then you're like, oh, I wish I would have been grateful when I could breathe through my nose. You know what I mean? I also feel very grateful that I have never once, knock on goddamn wood, there's no wood in here, that I have never diarrhea, like aching, like stomach aching, bubble guts diarrhea on a plane in Pilates at a random person's house that only has one bathroom and it's right in the living room. You know what I mean? That's like one of my fears, and it actually happened at Emma's once and it sucked. I mean, we were such good friends, like it didn't really matter, but I still had to drive home like 50. It just sucks. Besides real actual pain and torture, like that is one of the worst feelings. Also having to pee when you can't, that's another one. But anyways, during this Pilates class, I was like, uh-oh. At the very beginning, I was like, my stomach, I might fart. Like I might fart in this class. It went from that to, oh, now when I'm doing ab things, I'm getting pains on the side of my obliques and my tummy. And it definitely wasn't workout pain. It was a bubble guts. I was probably very close to farting. Like, I'm happy to report everything is fine. Thank God I'm going home though, because I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what the future holds for me, but as for right now, thank freaking goodness. Okay, so as you know, I got this yarn holder, which has been amazing. Like truly, it changes the game. I don't have to worry about the yarn, literally anything about the yarn. It just chills on here and it rotates and moves and it's super magnetic and it's great. However, they make these giant, are they called skeins? I think skein doesn't fit. And this thing is thick. And I was crocheting without a holder and I was just like, God, this is so nice. So I found this on Amazon and it's actually so sick. It came with two different sticks. One's shorter, one's longer, but it fits perfectly. And it was like kind of hard to find. It probably pops up right away. I just couldn't tell that it comes with two different ones. I thought it was just gonna be really small again. It's really sturdy. Here's the blanket. Here's the blanket so far. It's not even gonna be like that big, but. I have lately been feeling really stuck in general. I feel stuck with work. I feel stuck with my social life. I feel stuck with the world. And I don't think I'm necessarily depressed. I mean, maybe, but I just don't find joy very easy right now. And obviously, I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. But with like this specifically, just doing YouTube and stuff, I love it so much. I get excited to film. I get excited to edit. I get excited to upload. I think because it feels like no matter what I post, I just won't grow, which I'm just not sure. I've tried different things. I've done some like, what I thought were like kind of interesting challenges. Like, you know, I read for 24 hours or whatever, and then not using social media for a day, which like isn't that like, you know, crazy. I know it's really hard to grow on YouTube when you vlog because for the most part, titles, when you're titling like running errands, going to the bookstore, like traveling or like whatever, if people don't already know who you are, like they don't care. So I try to make my titles less like that and more subjecty, if that makes sense. So like people who don't know me might see it and might be curious or interested. I don't know. I feel like YouTube in general is just stuck too. Like, I don't know. I felt like that for a really long time with YouTube. I'm not thinking like, I'm not growing, like I'm done. I think that's just like a part of it where I'm just like, how long am I gonna, I think I've always felt this way, like up and down about posting online and stuff and doing it for a living. But yeah, it just feels stagnant, and I'm like, I would love to do more things. I just can't think of like specific things that I want to do that would be entertaining for a video, which is obviously what you got to do when you're doing YouTube. So I think I'm just not in like the best headspace with that, and then that bothers me because I'm like, well, that's literally the only thing you do. Like, so what can you do? Another thing I feel really stuck with is just my social life. I love doing things alone, as you guys know. I made a whole video about it. But it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I protected my peace too hard. now there's nobody around. No, I obviously have friends, but I am such a homebody. Like, I have really isolated myself, like, very hard. To a point where, like, if I have a plan, like, with someone, I'm, like, working myself up to go. And I've never been like that before, ever. I've always been such a social person. I love being a part of like a community. I love having friends and like just like hanging out. And in this part of my life, I'm just kind of like, I want to sit at home and that is all. And that's not good because I'm missing life. And I genuinely feel like I've lost years because I've just been in this like, I'm at home mode. It's just insane how genuinely different life has been since like March of 2020. Not to be conspiracy or like tinfoil hat, but like truly the timeline shifted. Like, my last sense of normalcy was the Hype House bathroom. My last sense of normalcy was Bad B, Addison Rae. Like, I can't believe it's been 7 years since 2019. And when I see the date 2019, I'm like, oh, that's not that long ago. That's a whole 7 years. Just to think of like where my life was then and where it is now, it's like there's so many good and bad in both parts. Like the social part, like I mentioned in one of my other videos, like I really do miss having like content friends who are genuinely my friends and can just like chill and be like, oh my gosh, we should make this video, or like, oh my gosh, we should make this TikTok or whatever. And of course I do that with like Emma and stuff, but this doesn't mean I want internet friends and not like my other friends. Like, I love having my other friends. I just miss that portion so much. I don't know how to find that again. Like, I think it was just so random and specific and everything kind of just fell into place from like Vine, and I don't know. I know there's so many communities out there, but it's just like, I'm 35, like, like people, like, I just feel like people don't make friends like that at my age. I don't know, that's making me a little depressy-essy. Emma went to Japan. I didn't hang out with anybody until she got back. Feels like I'm so used to just being at home and like doing my like comfy, cozy things, like coming home after Pilates and just like crocheting or editing or watching a movie or a show with Nolan or something. Like, I don't want to do anything else. My freaking camera died. So I charged it a little bit, but whatever I was talking about, along with the internet, this isn't like a part of my job, but the AI, obviously that's like a new thing that's sort of happening, but it's so crazy. And like, I feel like I'm living on a different planet when I go on Twitter and it's like a news article or like, I don't know, a celebrity rumor or like whatever, and literally always right below it, it's someone going, at Grok, is this true? And I'm just like, can you not use Google anymore? It's always for like the dumbest shit. And just not knowing for sure like what is real. Obviously it's pretty easy to spot AI, but it's getting good. Like, even from this war with Iran, like, there's been so many videos coming out of Iran or Israel or Lebanon, and they're just AI. So it's like, even in these moments and these times where like we're in an actual war, it's mind-boggling because you're just like, I don't know what to believe and what not to believe. Also, I'm a big Reddit person, obviously, and is this AI? I'm not subbed to it, but it pops up all the time because I'm always reading the comments when I see it, because I'm just like, how do they not know? It's always something like, my friend wants to go on a date with this guy, but I think this photo's AI, should I let her? And it's like, clearly a chiseled man with a beard and like big muscles, and he's like walking through a forest, and it's like, are we serious? Or like, my friend drew this, but I think it might be AI. Like, is it? And I'm just like, oh my God, it's crazy. And I will say a lot of comments are like, I can't believe people cannot tell the difference sometimes. I know that like just contradicted what I said about the war videos, but I feel like videos are harder to tell, especially when it's just like things getting blown up. You're like, it's not as easy. Like, I remember I saw a video one time of like a tsunami and like all these cars were like in the, and I was like, okay, clearly that's AI. Like, that's so stupid. Twitter also has so many just bots that it's such an entertaining platform still, and news does break on it sometimes, so I still use it, but I'm just like, take me back to when only Facebook wasn't. Take me back to Zynga, not even MySpace or Facebook, Zynga. Does anyone remember Zynga? Obviously, another thing that's making me feel like is how we're just like watching war happening live on our phones. And I mean, this has been happening. We saw it happening with Gaza. We've seen it happen in other countries. I think the fact that it's like directly the United States bombing Iran and all these places, and seeing how, like, I think when I was younger, after 9/11, when we went into like the Iraq war, when you're young, and especially then when there's like no social media, you're just getting like the news, which they're just telling you, you know, they're just propagandizing pretty much everything. At that time, in my head, I mean, I was a kid, so I was like, oh yeah, war just happens. Like, it's a thing. Like, we got attacked. Of course, we'll go attack them back. Obviously, now that I'm older and I'm seeing videos of homes and neighborhoods getting blown to pieces in Tehran and in Lebanon, and seeing millions of people displaced in Lebanon. Israel told parts of Lebanon that they have to move, otherwise they'll be blown to pieces, basically. And so people were on foot. People were bringing their farm animals, like walking so they wouldn't get, and then they were still bombing houses and neighborhoods. We're so far removed from it that it's hard to think that it's actually like, oh, it could be me. Like, the only difference is where we were born. And also just thinking of all the pets that are so fucking scared and having to, I don't know, man, Tehran looks insane. It's bad. And it makes me embarrassed to be a part of all this. I just had no idea until I got older how war machine-y we are, which sounds stupid because what do you mean? I didn't know that. I don't understand how adults can watch what's happening and be like, yeah, or like, well, it needs to happen because of this. It's like, okay, genuinely, the reason there are terrorist groups are because we have pushed regions of people, communities, specific religions, whatever. We've pushed them to the brink that they need to resist, because look what we do. Look at what we do to other countries. We are currently starving Cuba. I was not around for Watergate, but it just feels like literally once a week, I mean, maybe every day, but once a week, something happens that's crazier than Watergate, and it just doesn't even matter. Like, if the United States saw what the United States was doing, they would do a regime change. You know what I mean? I think we need one. And I'm sorry, what do you mean we bombed Iran because we wanted to free the protesters because they were getting killed? Yes, they were getting killed protesting because their government is insane in Iran. But you protest here, and at least 4 people got shot and killed by ICE agents. So, and Trump and MAGA and everyone makes fun of people for protesting. So it's like, it's obviously just not real. Like, that's not the real intention. They don't care about protesting. They just want oil. If you're feeling stuck too, just let me know. I feel like I just feel like life is going nowhere. Every day is deranged. Seriously. Sorry, this vlog was all just ranty, but also I'm turning 35 soon, so I feel like that's another, like, holy crap, I'm pushing 40, you know? Sometimes I want to go back to school and be like a radiologist. That stuff really interests me. When I did respiratory therapy school, I could not handle being in the hospital, though. I'd get so much anxiety. I don't know, I'm talking about that, but we're gonna go to Indiana soon, and I'm just scared for when we come back that I'll be like so bummed like I was when I got back from Omaha, just feeling like life just feels so much more full when you're around like family and have things to do that are fulfilling, like going on a little road trip with his mom, or I don't know, hang out with his brother and his niece and stuff. I don't know. I'm just scared that when we come back I'll be like, why do I live here? But again, where would I go? It's like my last vlog, I was like, I love LA. And then now I'm like, I hate my life. Not really. I'm obviously very privileged and very lucky and everything of the sort. But I think stuck is the right word. Yeah, life is weird when you do the internet for a living, and it just feels like taboo to talk about the things that are happening in the world. Obviously people are, and like I am. I think it's just strange to have so many peers that you've really liked over the course of doing the internet, and just seeing how many people like don't give a fuck to like post anything or care. And it's not me like judging them, it's just like, man, I'm in a pretty vapid area with all this. But love you guys. Please subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you next time. Bye.